In the name of Allah, the most merciful and the most beneficent. My name is Dr. Muhammad Aman Bashir. Let's discuss the dairy cow feeding physiology. Here are the content lists that we will discuss in the upcoming slides, like the digestive tract anatomy of a dairy cow, Rumen Dynamics, fermentation of carbohydrates, fats, protein, nitrogen, mineral and vitamins, milk urea nitrogen level indications, volatile fatty acids productions, their types and their role in a dairy cow, factor impacts on human pH. Let's discuss the digestive tract anatomy. As shown in the demonstrate or in the picture, the digestive tract of a cow starts from a mouth, then esophagus, then stomach, then intestine, small intestine, or at last large intestine. The stomach of a cow is also called the four compartment stomach because the stomach of a cow consists of the four parts: rumen, reticulum, omasum and abomasum. The four compartment stomach of a cow consists of the four parts: rumen, reticulum, omasum and abomasum. We will discuss the rumen, the first compartment and the most important compartment of a stomach of a cow. Rumen situated on the left side of a cow and consists of the 65% portion of a cow's stomach. And a rumen can hold over the 30 gallons of the material or the 132 liters material inside, and that 132 liters even contain 10 to 20% of the dry matter. Rumen of the cow is also called the fermentation vat because the all fermentation procedures of a carbohydrates and the other ingredients took place inside the rumen of a cow. In the result of the fermentation process, there is the production of the volatile fatty acids inside the rumen of a cow that cow can use as a source of energy. And these volatile fatty acids absorb in the bloodstream of a cow through the rumen papillae. And here the rumen papillae and energy, there is a correlation. If there is enough energy or the starch present in the feed, then they can stimulate the rumen papillae. A rumen papillae will work more, they will absorb more volatile fatty acids, and ultimately cow will produce more milk, and they are good in reproduction and in other parameters. But if cow are energy deficient or the starch deficient, rumen papillae will not work properly, they will not absorb properly volatile fatty acids, and ultimately cow will be energy deficient. Here's the four compartment rumen cow stomach. The rumen situated on the left side of the cow and the 65% portion of the stomach. A reticulum is the second compartment and it lies in front of the rumen, while omasum and abomasum lies on the right side of the body. A reticulum is also called the honeycomb because its structure resembles with the house of the honeycomb. And the pH of the reticulum is 6, while the pH of the rumen varies from 5.5 to 6.8. Here's the anatomical description of the four compartment stomach of a cow. Rumen is just like a towel shape, while the reticulum is the honeycomb shape, and then there's many folds in the abomasum, and here's the abomasum. Omasum also carries many plies because there's many folds inside the omasum, and the omasum is a globe shape, and omasum can absorb water and some nutrients as well. Here's the fourth compartment of a cow stomach, called also the true stomach, the abomasum, because their structure resembles with the monogastric animal as well as with the human. That's why it is called the true stomach, and some digestion also occurs in the abomasum. Abomasum pH remains below the 3, and there is a conditions in the cow called displaced abomasum or twist abomasum occurs usually in the cows on the commercial as well as on the corporate farms. In this condition, cow's abomasum condition will change, means normal position will change to abnormal position. Like here's the cow for stomach. Here's the abomasum. Abomasum present on the right side of the cow, but in the displaced abomasum, the twist abomasum position normally change. Like abomasum from this position goes upward, or abomasum from this position goes to the left side of the cow, means below the rumen of the cow. That called displaced abomasum or twisted abomasum, that commonly occur in the last trimester or after the calving of the cow, or when there is not proper ratio of the concentrate to forage. That's why, or when there is not enough forage provided to the cow in the last trimester, then displaced abomasum develops. The next one is the small intestine. Small intestine consists of three parts: duodenum, jejunum, ileum. Here is the small intestine structure. Here is the lumen of the small intestine, where the peptides break into the amino acids and absorb through the villi. And here is the structure of the villi. The large intestine consists of also three parts: cecum, colon, and rectum. And cecum is a plant pouch. There is no microbial digestion in the large intestine, while there is a bacterial fermentation of the undigested fiber and starch occurs in the large intestine. Water and volatile fatty acids, some portion, also absorbed through the large intestine. After that, food excretes and become the feces, and the feces pH will be under 6. Let's discuss the Rumen dynamics, how rumen works, and the first of all, we will talk about the contractions of the rumen. Rumen will contract two times per minute, and the normal or common phenomena that occur inside the cow body is a rumination. Rumination is, in the simple words, is a chewing her cud, and the cow is ruminating in a day approximately 8 to 10 hours. Even a 500 gram feed cow chew or ruminate for 10 to 15 minutes. A rumination cycle consists of the four parts: regurgitation, rechewing, resalivation, and reswelling the cud. First of all, the starch present in the diet will stimulate the esophagus and rumen groove. This will start the reverse peristaltic movement, means start the flow of the food from the rumen to the esophagus to the mouth. That is called reverse peristaltic, and the regurgitation. Then animal rechew that food, and when animal rechew that food, resalivations occurs, means there is the release of the saliva from the salivary glands. After the rechewing, animal reswallow that cud from esophagus to the rumen. That is called the regurgitation. And on an average, animal produce 88 liters saliva per day. A dry matter intake also relates with the fiber content of the feed. If there is too much fiber in the feed, that leads to the less dry matter intake of a cow. And there is a production of 28 to 47 liters of a carbon dioxide and other gases per hour via rumen of a cow. And this is a thumb rule of a quiet chewing of a cow. When cow is not eating, or cow is not being milked, or cow is sitting, the 60% of the cow should be ruminating at that time, or the cow chew each cud at least 50 times before reswelling. Now discuss the rumen fermentation of the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are an instant source of energy for the rumen microbes, and in the feed there is 70 to 80% portion of a carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are present in two forms: non-structured carbohydrates and structured carbohydrates. Non-structured carbohydrates are sugar and starch, while structured carbohydrates are cellulose, hemicellulose, and pectin. 60 to 80% of the energy required by the cow is provided by the carbohydrates, and according to that outcome, the cow will get volatile fatty acids via rumen microbe fermentation. Here's the type of the volatile fatty acids for the microbial digestion. So the different carbohydrates like sugar and the starch are the structured carbohydrates, while the lignin, cellulose, hemicellulose are the non-structured carbohydrates. When the bacteria act on these carbohydrates, in return to this fermentation, these are the volatile fatty acids that produce. Basically, there are the three types of volatile fatty acid: acetate, propionate, and the butyrate, that produce inside the rumen in the result of the fermentation. Sugar in the starch fermentation is very fast, while lignin fermentation is almost near to zero, and cellulose and hemicellulose fermentation are slow to moderate, and respectively the digestions are mentioned in the table. Okay, let's discuss the characteristics of the microbial groups. Here are the three microbial groups that's discussed in this table: fiber digesting bacteria, starch and sugar digesting bacteria. In other words, we can categorize it's a structured carbohydrate digesting bacteria, or it's a non-structured carbohydrate digesting bacteria. These bacteria act on these substrates, and in result of these fermentation, these volatile fatty acids are produced. Keep in mind that human pH varies from 5.5 to 6.8. 5.5 to 6 pH is favorable for starch and sugar digesting bacteria, while 6 to 6.8 pH of the human is favorable for fiber digesting bacteria. Okay. When animal fed carbohydrates in the stomach break down into the soluble sugars, then in the intermediate compounds pyruvate, lactate, formate and succinate. On these intermediate compounds, human microbes act and convert these intermediate compounds into the volatile fatty acids acetate, butyrate and propionate that used by the cow as a source of energy via absorption from the rumen papillae to the bloodstream, as well as the production of the methane and carbon dioxide when the fermentation of the carbohydrates occur inside the rumen of the cow. And one more example is here. When the carbohydrate is break down, these are the two processes, the two pathways that place inside of the rumen of the cow side by side. One is glycolysis. The starch, cellulose and hemicellulose break down in the hexoses into the pyruvate, ultimately into the three fatty acids acetate, butyrate and propionate, while hemicellulose is break down as well as into the pentose sugar that will convert into the acetate. Keep in mind that butyrate and propionate productions occur only via one cycle, while acetate productions occur via two cycles inside the rumen of a cow. That's the biochemistry of a carbohydrates metabolism.